A Scale Model of Our Solar System by Alex Stein. The materials that I use to make this solar system is air-dry clay, an online calculator, a ruler, apple and dice, a black tablecloth, exercise ball, and a yellow towel. This is what the online calculator looks like that I use to figure out the distances and the diameters. Here is my scale model of the solar system. The sun is the far left of the yellow ball, and then the ruler is a 4-foot ruler. That's just to help you see the distance of the overall, and Neptune is way in the right corner. Next, I'm going to show you a close-up of each of the planets. The sun in real life is 864,900 miles in diameter, and my sun in my scale model is 21 inches in diameter. That's quite a big difference. So that's what this scale model is going to be based on. First, I'll start with Mercury. I have the dice and an apple next to it so you can see how big it actually is. And in real life, the diameter of Mercury is 3,032 miles. In my scale model, it is 0.07 of an inch. Venus is fairly bigger than Mercury. In real life, Venus is 7,519 miles in diameter, and in my scale model, it's 0.18 of an inch. Earth is barely bigger than Venus. The average mile in diameter in real life is 7,916 miles. In my scale model, it's 0.19 inches. Mars is the second smallest planet right behind Mercury. In real life, Mars is 4,212 miles in diameter, but in my scale model, it's 1/10 of an inch. Jupiter is the largest planet. In real life, it is 86,870 miles in diameter, and in my scale model, it's 2 inches in diameter. Saturn, as you've guessed, is the second largest planet. It is 72,390 miles in diameter, and in my scale model, it is 1.7 inches. Uranus is 31,520 miles in diameter, and in my scale model, it's 0.76 inches. Neptune is almost similar in size, but slightly smaller. It's 30,600 miles in diameter in real life, and in my scale model, it's 0.74 of an inch. Here's an overview of the entire solar system again. As you can tell, it is super hard to see the first 4 planets because they're so small. Next, I'm going to show you how far each planet is from the sun, using the same scale model, but once I found my scale model, then I divided that number again by 1,000, because the number is so outrageous it'd be super hard to lay it all out with the same scale model. Here are the first 4 planets from the sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Now, using the same scale model I used for the size of the planets, Mercury would be 72 feet from the sun. Since that's hard to fit in one picture, I took that number and I divided it by 1,000. So Mercury is 0.072 feet from the sun. Venus would be 136 feet from the sun using my scale model, and dividing it by 1,000, it's located at 0.136 feet. Earth would be 188 feet from the sun, and in my scale model, it's 0.188 feet. Using the original scale again for Mars, Mars would be set at 286.5 feet from the sun, but dividing it by 1,000 again to get it to fit in one picture, it's 0.28 of a foot. This picture shows the distance from Mars to Jupiter in my scale model. Using the same scale model as before, Jupiter would really be 978.8 feet from the sun at that size, but I divided it by 1,000 again for 0.978 of a foot. This picture shows the distance between Jupiter and Saturn in my scale model. In my scale model, Saturn is 1.8 feet from the sun, but at that size, Saturn would actually be 1,802 feet from the sun. This picture shows the distance between Saturn and Uranus. In my scale model, Uranus is 3.6 feet from the sun, but At that size, Uranus would actually be 3,617 feet from the Sun. This picture shows the distance between Uranus and Neptune. Neptune in my scale model is 5.6 feet from the Sun. At that size, Neptune would actually be 5,661 feet from the Sun. In closing, you would have to take these distances that you see now and take that times 1,000 to have the true scale model, but I shortened it by 1,000 so I could fit it all in one picture. And also, not all the planets are not always aligned like this because they're each at different spots in their orbit around the Sun. So here's one final look of my scale model. Thanks for watching.